Hey everybody, Mark Johnson here, founder and creative director of Able Abe Studios, back again with another book review. And to give you a little bit of background before I introduce this book, the background I have leading up to me actually reading this book came along in the sense that there was a time, I don't know how long ago, but it was a hot topic in the sense that a lot of businessmen, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of strategizing type minded people were reading this book just to kind of get the strategies from it, and to use in their own business and in their daily lives. And I kind of got wind of that and I was kind of listening to it, and I always felt that this would be a book that I should read. I've also heard quotes that have been used from this book, kind of talking about things you can use to strategize for your life or in your life. And it just kind of made me want to read the book, but I never really got around to it till about now. And the book that I'm talking about is Sun Tzu's The Art of War, right? And I want to start by as I kind of give a more in-depth review of this book. It's, at least the book that I got, is dense in the sense that it's not a very thick book. Not a very thick book, you can see that. But at the same time, the reading is very dense. Again, it's kind of, I compare it to like reading the Bible in the sense that they're saying what they're saying, but at the same time, you got to be able to decipher what they're saying. And it's kind of like that. I think what would have been helpful for me would have been using a book like a clip note or something like that to kind of explain what each little portion of the book is actually saying, or speaking about or speaking on, or even being in a class, or being with someone who knows how to basically decipher what Sun Tzu is actually saying. And it's not that it's so difficult to understand. A lot of it I could understand, but I think it would have been given it a better meaning for me if I could have been able to decipher some of these things a little more clearly. Again, it's dense in the sense that it's going over a lot of different topics, and again, it's the art of war. So he's basically speaking about how to engage in combat, and a lot of his stuff is more about preparation than the actual act of fighting or the act of interacting in war. Preparing for the fight, preparing to travel a certain way or a certain direction in the war, on the battlefield, those kind of things. And also how to interact with the soldiers, interact with the generals and the lieutenants, those kind of things. And so he goes throughout the book and kind of gives you different like preparations, like dealing with fire, dealing on the battlefield, dealing with preparing for combat, those kind of things. So it's broken up like that throughout the book. And again, like I said, it's kind of dense. It was a little tough reading. I wouldn't say just anyone could read this book and kind of get everything out of it. But I think at the same time, it is an interesting book to read, and there are things that you can draw out of it that you can actually, manipulate a little bit. I think one of the quotes that I've heard people talk about from this book was to do the things that are, how'd it go? Do the things that are hard when they're easy. So in a sense, when you have an opportunity to do something that would be hard, for example, like this, let's say, you're writing, say you're writing a book, let's say that, and you have a couple months where you really don't have anything going, but after those couple of months, your schedule's going to be a little bit more busy, you're going to be more involved with certain things. And so that's what he's talking about. When you have those few months where you're not as busy, do it then. Work on it then. Because when you are busy, that's the time when it's going to be hard. So do the things that are hard when they are easy. And so that's kind of, some of the things that he kind of parables, quotes, if you want to say, that he talks about in this book. And, was it enjoyable? I don't know if it was an enjoyable read. The topic itself is kind of, morbid. But I think, again, for the person reading it, to get the strategies out of it, or to get the mindset out of it, and trying to transfer that to whatever they may do, and maybe it's an athlete, maybe it's an entrepreneur, a business person. If you're trying to take those things out of it, I think you can really use this book. But outside of that, unless you're a person who's in the military, or you're just kind of a militia type person, this book is not necessarily for everybody, for that reason, and also for the reason that it is a difficult kind of a read. But I enjoyed it. Again, I wouldn't recommend this for everybody. It's kind of book it's kind of a book that you could pass. Again, I read it for the fact that I was interested in it at one point, and I finally got the opportunity to read it. Again, I would also recommend, if you could read it with maybe some clip notes, or someone to kind of help decipher some things for you, that would also be helpful. So yeah, that's kind of my review for Sun Tzu's The Art of War. Again, I enjoyed it, because I wanted to read it. Outside of that, I think, I could have passed on this book. But that's my review for Sun Tzu's Art of War. If you like this review, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing with the channel, definitely subscribe. And if you have a comment, maybe you've read The Art of War and you have some comments, leave those in the comment box below. Or if you want to comment of how I'm doing with the channel and these book reviews, or maybe you've seen somebody watch me draw videos, definitely leave those comments in the comment box below. I definitely appreciate it. So, like we always do at this time, have a blessed day. See you on the flip side. Let's go.